Hello there, I'm Woolly Wormhead and welcome to my channel. In today's tutorial, I'd like to show you how to cable without a cable needle. This means that you are swapping your stitches over to form your cable without bringing in an extra tool to hold the stitches while you cross them over. It speeds up your knitting, but I understand that, for some people it can be a little bit scary because you have to drop the stitches as you go. Now, I'm going to share a couple of tips about how to make this easier. I'm going to show you what I do and we'll see how we get on with it. The project that I am working on is a cabled hat project. So I'll be using that to demonstrate, and it has a couple of different types of cables on it to give you an idea. So let's switch to the overhead and let's have a look. Okay, so this project that I am working on has a number of different types of cables. There are some that are knit stitches being crossed with knit stitches, some with knit stitches being crossed with purl stitches, some going left, some going right. There's a few different ones in here, and I'm going to use them as an example to show you how you can do this without a cable needle. Now, this next one that I have got here, I am going to be crossing these two knit stitches with these two purl stitches. The two knit stitches are going to go to the left, which means they're going to go across the front. And the purl stitches need to come around the back and come to the right. Now, if it wouldn't matter if these were knit stitches, the principle is exactly the same. The way that we treat them when we're crossing them is exactly the same. So to do a left or front cross, what we want to do is we want to grab the second two stitches that we're going to be crossing from behind. We gently take them all up to the edge of the needle, slip off those two knit stitches, and then we put them back on there and transfer them over. And then we are ready to work them as they would be. So these would be purl 2, knit 2. And we have just crossed that over. So let me unravel that and show you how to do that again. All right. Let me just pick up my stitches again, put them back in the right order that they were before, tidy them up, make sure I haven't dropped anything. So make sure I've not split the yarn, which I had there. Okay, so let's do that again. This is a left cross, or these stitches are going to go across the front towards the left, and these two stitches are going to go around the back to the right. So we pick the two stitches that are going to be traveling around the back from the back. All right. We slide it all up, and notice what I'm doing with my thumb here. All right. I'm holding and supporting. I'm not gripping it tightly, but I am supporting these stitches just enough so that when I slowly take those two off the needle, I take them out of those two at the back because they're held on that needle, and I very gently but quickly grab them onto the front there, and then we are ready to put these two on, and they have now been crossed over, and we are ready to work. 1, 2, 1, 2. So the next one I'm going to be doing is these two purl stitches have to swap over with these two, and they have to go behind. So now, because these ones are the ones that have to travel across the front, we pick them up from the front. All right, so this is the right cross, and I grab those there very gently, put them back. So let me take them off again and show you that again. Whoop, they don't want to go back on the needle. Get back on the needle. Right, here we go. Let me just make sure that I haven't reorientated them or dropped any part of it. Nope. Oh, hang on. Let's just recapture that stitch. Okay. So to bring these two across, we grab them from the front. So whichever direction the stitches are traveling, whether they're going across the front, you need to grab them from the front, the two stitches afterwards. If they're going to be going around the back, then you grab them from the back. All right. Pick those two there with the needle. Very, very gently push them off, and then with the tip of the needle, pick those back up again. If you have a yarn that splits and the yarn gets split at some point here, don't worry about it. Deal with it when you come to knit across it. You want to keep this part of the cape across as minimal as possible. Any tidying up, do it when you get to the stitch. Just check the stitch to make sure it's okay. And see this one here, I lost a little bit of the fibre there. Sorry, lost one of the pliers. And so I just tidied it up there. Now we're going to come across and we have another one where we have to swap purl stitches with the knit stitches. So this one is going to be doing the same as the last one did. So we're going to grab those two from the front, very, very gently drop them off the needle, and then we pick them from the back, put them on, and we work them that way. And the next cable that we need to do is these two knit stitches have to swap over with these, and they have to swap across the front. So because the next two stitches, the two purl stitches, have to go behind, we grab them from behind. And again, I'm using my fingers and thumb very gently to control not only the needles, but just to kind of like put a little firm grip, firmish, not too firm, just to stop things moving as I do this. Using your fingers to help with this not only stops them unraveling, but it actually kind of gives you a little bit of reassurance that you're actually holding your knitting. I find at least that's what it does for me. And there we have it. We've crossed over two different sets of stitches. The fact that they're knits and purls, it could be knits and knits. It doesn't matter. The principle is exactly the same. Now, I've just demonstrated on a relatively small cable, 2 by 2, a cable that's involved of 4 stitches, where we cross two sets of 2 over each other, either around the front or back or left or right, whichever way that you describe your cabling terminology. Now, you can do this with more stitches in the cable, but I personally have never done anything bigger than 3 stitches at a time. I tend not to work large cables anyway, but I think beyond 3 or 4 stitches that you're dropping, you've got a lot to catch, and that's when you maybe want to bring in a cable needle or whatever you use for holding the stitches while you cross them over. The other thing to do, keep in mind, is of course, is supporting your knitting while you're doing it to help stitches kind of not move around, because as you are dropping the stitches and carefully moving your needle out, you want to keep the movement of your needles to a minimum. Otherwise, the more movement you have, it encourages those stitches that you just dropped to unravel. They start to move, and then that's when you're at risk of dropping the stitches down further. So that's why holding your knitting very gently in place as you do it is a great help. As I say, it gives me kind of like reassurance that I know that my hand's there or my fingers there to stop the stitches coming undone. But it's keeping the movement of your needles to a minimum and helping to support your knitting that actually makes the dropping of the stitches quite straightforward. And again, I'll repeat, if you have a yarn that kind of splits slightly, or you find that when you put your stitch back onto your needle, it's reorientated in the wrong way, orientated the wrong way, don't worry about reorientating it or picking up that extra ply until you come to work across those stitches. What you want to do is when you do this, you want to grab the stitches. That's the most important thing. You can tidy them up as you come to work across them. I hope that's been helpful. And I hope it kind of like encourages you to try working without cable needle, because it's so much quicker to not get an extra tool out to bring into your work. If you can get through the cables like this, it really does speed up your cable knitting. All right. I hope that's been helpful. I'd appreciate it if you could do the like, hype, and share thing to help me grow my channel and get my techniques out to more knitters. And I'll see you next time. Happy knitting.